The Delta Force, a covert and elite unit within the United States Army, remains shrouded in secrecy, with its operations veiled in classified missions and undisclosed details. Established in 1977, this Special Operations Force is renowned for its exceptional skills and undercover activities. However, beyond the well-known tales of counter-terrorism and hostage rescue, there exists an untold narrative that delves into the mystique of Delta Force. Join us on a journey to uncover the untold truth of Delta Force. America's secret counter-terrorist force. Delta Force has secured its place in military history through numerous highly classified missions, making it one of the most mysterious units in warfare. Despite its relatively young establishment in 1977, Delta Force, alongside SEAL Team 6, plays a crucial role as a counter-terrorist force in the U.S. Armed Forces. Operating outside the typical U.S. Special Forces command structure, Delta Force is based at Fort Liberty in North Carolina, within the Joint Special Operations Command. Interestingly, the government officially denies the unit's existence, maintaining an elusive facade around its activities. Originally named the 1st Special Forces Operational Detachment Delta, and later the Combat Applications Group, they are officially known as the Army Compartmented Elements, while civilians continue to refer to them as Delta Force. The exceptional individuals making up Delta Force's combat personnel are not just soldiers, they are acknowledged as operators. This subtle distinction underscores the specialized and exceptional nature of their training and missions. As Delta Force continues to operate in the shadows, their mystique and significance persist, solidifying their reputation as one of the most clandestine and formidable units in military history. In the annals of Delta Force history, few individuals cast as significant a shadow as its visionary founder, Colonel Charles Beckwith. Originating from Georgia, Beckwith's trajectory to military eminence took an unexpected turn. Initially aspiring to a career in the NFL as a promising athlete, he redirected his ambitions towards the Army, embarking on a distinguished career that spanned both the Korean and Vietnam Wars. In the summer of 1965, during the Vietnam War, Beckwith played a crucial role in Operation Delta, a precursor to the eventual formation of Delta Force. This operation, centered on infiltrating enemy lines and locating elusive North Vietnamese elements or Viet Cong forces, laid the groundwork for the specialized tactics that would come to define Delta Force's future missions. Beckwith's leadership in Project Delta, a collaboration between the U.S. and Vietnamese Special Forces, showcased his proficiency in unconventional warfare. Building on a Special Forces paper he had authored, Beckwith orchestrated Delta's early missions, including a notable success in rescuing besieged Green Berets, resulting in the elimination of nearly 1,000 enemy soldiers. Following Vietnam, Beckwith's thirst for knowledge led him to study with the British Special Air Services. His comprehensive report on the SAS's utilization of special forces caught the U.S. Army's attention. In 1976, as the military contemplated the creation of its SAS-like unit, Beckwith's insights played a crucial role. On January 1977, he formally presented the concept of Delta Force as a counter-terrorism unit to his commander. Beckwith's compelling presentation struck a chord, and on November 19, 1977, Delta Force was officially activated with Beckwith assuming command. His journey from athlete to military strategist mirrors not only the evolution of an exceptional individual, but also the genesis of a legendary force that continues to shape military history. Delta Force has earned a well-deserved reputation for excellence. However, their path to becoming an elite force was not without its share of challenges. Their initial mission took place on April 24, 1980, amidst the aftermath of the 1979 Iranian Revolution and the resulting hostage crisis. The crisis began when Iranian militants boldly stormed the U.S. Embassy in Tehran during the revolution, leading to the kidnapping of numerous Americans. Diplomatic efforts fell short, prompting U.S. President Jimmy Carter to approve a covert rescue operation called Operation Eagle Claw. This complex mission was assigned to the newly formed Delta Force to infiltrate Iran, storming the embassy and freeing the hostages. Unfortunately, the mission faced significant difficulties from the start. Technical issues plagued multiple helicopters crucial to the operation's success, leading to an abrupt and premature termination. Tragically, a collision between a C-130 aircraft and a helicopter resulted in the loss of 8 American lives. The mission was cut short, leaving behind fallen comrades and disabled helicopters in a hasty retreat from the area, deviating from the original plan to destroy the assets. Despite the setback, The Iranian hostage situation persisted for nearly a year. Despite the initial failure of their inaugural mission, Delta Force did not let this define their trajectory. Their early challenges proved to be temporary, as the force evolved into a symbol of military prowess through subsequent successful missions and continuous improvement of their operational capabilities. In the face of adversity, Delta Force demonstrated resilience and adaptability, ultimately shaping its legacy as an elite military unit. The journey from the Operation Eagle Claw incident to its current status as a premier force exemplifies Delta Force's tenacity and commitment to overcoming challenges and excelling in the demanding landscape of special operations. Inside the crucible of Delta Force's selection and training. Securing a position in the exclusive Delta Force is an achievement reserved for the best and most exceptional candidates. The rigorous selection process, eliminating around 90% of applicants, underscores the force's dedication to excellence. The key to this exclusivity lies in the demanding training requirements that prospective Delta Force operators must meet. Colonel Beckwith, in his book, illuminated the challenging nature of the training regimen, providing insights into the initial tests candidates must pass to qualify for the force. One notable trial is the House of Horrors building, a $90,000 complex designed to immerse trainees in various counter-terrorist and hostage rescue scenarios, with 4 adaptable rooms simulating different situations, from nocturnal assaults to potential aircraft hijackings. The House of Horrors serves as a crucial test, separating genuine recruits from imposters. Inspired by the British Special Air Service's intense killing house, the House of Horrors functions as a crucible, ensuring Delta Force operators are well prepared for a range of challenging tasks. Colonel Beckwith emphasized the training's severity, noting that only about 12 to 14 out of 120 candidates per class typically succeeded, highlighting the program's selectivity and intensity. The House of Horrors reflects Delta Force's philosophy that a small number of highly trained individuals is preferable to a larger force, some of whom may not meet the necessary standards. Each operator undergoes comprehensive training, acquiring a diverse skill set that, in conventional organizations, would be distributed among multiple individuals. This approach ensures Delta Force operators are versatile, well-rounded, and equipped to handle the complex and dynamic challenges inherent in their specialized roles within the military landscape. In 1979, the State Department sought Colonel Beckwith's expertise and assistance from the recently established Delta Force to enhance security measures at several foreign embassies. Eric L. Haney, a recruit at the time, provided a first-hand account of the unique training undertaken by selected Delta Force operators in his autobiography, Inside Delta Force, the story of America's elite counter-terrorist unit. This training aimed to prepare operators to safeguard U.S. ambassadors from a wide range of potential threats and unexpected scenarios. The preparation went beyond traditional security concerns, encompassing scenarios ranging from mundane issues like a flat tire to unexpected events such as a diplomatic dinner party becoming the target of enemy rocket fire. Haney highlighted that Delta Force operators thrive on facing challenges that ordinary people find frightening, stating, "All the kinds of things that scare ordinary people to death, these are the kinds of things Delta Force loves to do." To validate their assimilation of training, Haney and his fellow recruits underwent an unconventional and demanding test. They received mysterious envelopes containing instructions directing them to meet undercover contacts or retrieve additional hidden instructions. Navigating a city using cryptic clues added complexity to the task, and their commander alerted the FBI, initiating a manhunt to track them down. The test's climax involved Haney and his teammates completing their mission, which included the theft of sensitive information from strategic locations like the Naval Observatory, National Guard Armory, and Andrews Air Force Base. Remarkably, they outwitted the FBI, evading capture and showcasing the unique skills that define Delta Force operators. This successful outcome underscored the elite unit's ability to operate with precision and discretion, even under the scrutiny of external forces. The classified missions beyond the Vietnam War. Unresolved issues stemming from the Vietnam War include the complex matter of American prisoners of war, which remains one of the most intricate and debated aspects. Officially, both the United States and Vietnamese governments assert that after the war's conclusion and Operation Homecoming, which repatriated 591 American POWs, no individuals remained in Vietnamese custody. However, Persistent unofficial rumors over the decades have suggested that some POWs were left behind after the war, with indications of rescue missions that almost came to fruition. Two of these purported missions, occurring in 1981 and 1982, nearly a decade after the war's end, reportedly involved Delta Force. According to details provided by former Delta Force operator Haney in his book, certain elements within the U.S. government believed that approximately 125 POWs were being held in neighboring Laos. Delta Force was called upon to execute a daring rescue operation, and preparations included dress rehearsals that incorporated the expertise of Air Force pilots. Unfortunately, at the last moment, senior officials decided to abandon the mission due to concerns that it had attracted excessive attention. A subsequent attempt a year later met a similar fate, with the mission aborted before implementation. While the hope is that the intelligence was flawed and no POWs were left behind, these events underscore the broad-ranging and multifaceted missions undertaken by Delta Force. The episodes involving Delta Force's potential involvement in POW rescue missions highlight the unit's adaptability and readiness to engage in diverse operations even years after the Vietnam War. These instances also underscore the complexities and challenges associated with navigating the intelligence landscape and the intricate web of geopolitical considerations in the pursuit of addressing unresolved issues from past conflicts. That's not all. The U.S. invasion of Grenada in 1983, known as Operation Urgent Fury, is subject to differing opinions, with some considering it a triumphant success and others viewing it as an excessive demonstration of power against a sovereign nation. The mission unfolded on October 19, 1983, following a leftist coup by the Military Revolutionary Council in Grenada. Promptly after the coup, the U.S. intervened, ostensibly under the guise of protecting American citizens, particularly students in the country. However, the actual objective was to oust the newly established radical government. Delta Force, a specialized unit, participated in Operation Urgent Fury, with 2 squadrons assigned specific tasks. B Squadron was entrusted with liberating a prison, while A Squadron received orders to attack an installation after B Squadron completed its mission. However, B Squadron encountered intense enemy fire upon approaching their target, leading to a strategic retreat and the evacuation of wounded personnel onto a Navy destroyer. Subsequently, A Squadron also faced heavy enemy fire during their attempted landing, compelling them to turn back. Tragically, one of the team's helicopters crash-landed, resulting in several fatalities. While Operation Urgent Fury was successful overall, it proved to be a disastrous undertaking for Delta Force, an operation that many would likely prefer to forget. Delta Force in the tragedy of the 1983 Beirut Embassy attack. The 1983 Beirut Embassy bombing is a deeply sorrowful event in American military history, unfolding during the turbulent Lebanese Civil War and marking a significant chapter in the short-lived U.S. involvement in the conflict. A year before the tragic incident, American forces, including a few highly regarded Delta Force operators, arrived in Lebanon as part of an international peacekeeping initiative. On April 18, 1983, a devastating suicide bombing struck the embassy, echoing tragedy across the region. Amidst the chaos, SFC Terry Gilden and Rick Downing, both Delta Force operators, found themselves at the center of the blast. Unfortunately, SFC Terry Gilden, stationed outside the embassy, lost his life in the explosion, leaving an enduring impact on the history of sacrifice. Miraculously surviving the blast, Rick Downing was thrown through the doorway of his upstairs office, briefly losing consciousness. Upon regaining his senses, Downing displayed remarkable resilience. Despite the pandemonium, he took charge, organizing the evacuation of the American ambassador to safety. Additionally, he played a crucial role in assisting the remaining wounded, demonstrating unwavering dedication in the face of adversity. The toll of the attack was devastating, claiming 63 victims, including the heroic SFC Terry Gilden, who posthumously received the Army's Legion of Merit. At the time of his tragic death, Gilden, a seasoned 6-year veteran, had exemplified a steadfast commitment to duty and service. Meanwhile, the 1993 Battle of Mogadishu, vividly portrayed in the Ridley Scott film Black Hawk Down, stands as one of Delta Force's most widely recognized missions. This intense conflict unfolded from October 3-4, 1993, as U.S. forces entered Somalia, intending to remove a local warlord who held sway over a portion of the country. Officially designated as Operation Gothic Serpent, Delta Force played a substantial role as a key component of the mission's operators. Tragically, the mission concluded with significant losses, including over 100 U.S. casualties, 13 UN casualties, and an estimated 1,500 Somali deaths. Notably among those killed in action were Delta operators SFC Randall David Shugart and Master Sergeant Gary Ivan Gordon, both posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor for their exceptional bravery during the battle. Amidst the chaos, Gordon and Shugart voluntarily undertook the perilous task of securing a U.S. helicopter crash site at risk of being overrun by militants. Despite being aware of the likely fatal outcome, these courageous men selflessly volunteered to rescue the downed pilots. Gary Gordon and Randall Shugart died most courageously and selflessly as any human being can act. Arriving at the crash site without reinforcements, they valiantly held off the militants for several minutes. Eventually, running out of ammunition, they succumbed to the attackers, but their unwavering courage succeeded in saving the life of the crashed pilot. Their daring display of heroism and bravery was unquestionably deserving of the Medal of Honor they posthumously earned. Operation Silent Resolve. Operation Acid Gambit, aside from having an exceptionally fascinating name, stands out as one of Delta Force's most impressive missions, despite not being widely recognized. This mission unfolded on December 20, 1989, amidst Operation Just Cause, which aimed to remove Panamanian dictator Manuel Noriega from power. Noriega, who had been in control of Panama since 1983, held a complex history with the U.S., having previously served as a CIA informant. In the late 1980s, Noriega fell out of favor with the U.S. government due to his involvement in illicit drug trafficking and suspicions regarding the murder of political opponent Hugo Spadafora. By 1988, he was indicted in a U.S. court on drug charges, and in early 1989, he ordered the arrest of Kurt Muse, an American undercover CIA agent residing in Panama. In response, the U.S. launched Operation Just Cause, a massive 24,000-strong force, including Delta Force, with a specific mission called Operation Acid Gambit, to rescue Kurt Muse. With Muse's life hanging in the balance, Delta operators executed a daring landing on the roof of La Modelo prison, where Muse was held, facing heavy enemy fire. They skillfully fought their way to Muse's cell, successfully rescuing him and navigating their way back out with only 3 casualties and no fatalities. The entire operation showcased a remarkable level of efficiency, with Delta operators completing the mission in a swift 6 minutes from start to finish. One of the pivotal missions in the history of Delta Force occurred during the 1991 Persian Gulf War, when U.S. forces intervened in Iraq to halt their occupation of Kuwait. The United States strongly condemned Iraq's military invasion of Kuwait. While the Gulf War is extensively studied, many are unaware of Delta Force's crucial role in preventing the conflict from escalating. Shortly after the U.S. invasion began, Saddam Hussein authorized the launch of Scud ballistic missiles into Israel and Saudi Arabia. This act resulted in the tragic death of at least 13 Israelis and injuries to 77 Saudis, posing a serious threat to the region. Saddam's strategy was likely to involve Israel in the conflict, expecting it to disrupt the international coalition against him, which included some Arab states, thus improving his chances of survival. Initially, the U.S. struggled to counter the Scud missile attacks, and Hussein continued launching them into Israel, potentially altering the course of the war. President George H.W. Bush successfully persuaded Israel to refrain from entering the conflict. However, on February 27, 1991, Hussein planned a final barrage of 26 Scuds, aiming to provoke Israel's involvement. Delta Force operatives, however, located and neutralized all 26 missiles before they could be activated. Despite their significant contribution, Delta Force's role in this mission remained largely undisclosed to the public. Without Delta's intervention, the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East might have been markedly different today. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick. Creating a resume is typically a straightforward task for many individuals. They outline their essential skills, educational background, and work experience, specifying their official roles, company names, and supervisors. However, A unique challenge arises when one's employer is classified, and the identity of their superior is non-existent from a legal standpoint. This predicament is particularly true for members of Delta Force. Due to the classified nature of Delta Force operations, members cannot disclose their official titles and job details when updating their resumes or LinkedIn profiles. The untold truth about Delta Force is that the military's stance on Delta Force is so stringent that, according to insiders, the unit is treated as if it doesn't exist. Consequently, Delta Force operators resort to creative strategies, assigning themselves unique titles that conceal their official affiliation while still reflecting their duties and responsibilities. In some instances, military personnel might name their detachments generic terms like Special Missions Unit to safeguard their true identity. However, the secrecy extends beyond the resume stage. When these operators secure interviews, strict limitations exist regarding what they can discuss about their Delta Force history. Many of their experiences must remain confidential, adding complexity to the already intricate task of navigating employment conversations. In the end, it's a delicate balance that both current and former Delta Force members must maintain, something that the general public may not fully grasp or consider. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. The capture of Saddam Hussein and Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. The downfall of Saddam Hussein began with the U.S. invasion of Iraq on March 20, 2003, and culminated 9 months later when Delta Force operatives dealt the final blow. The U.S. initiated the invasion due to allegations of Iraq harboring weapons of mass destruction and engaging in illegal oil sales under United Nations sanctions. The primary objective was to permanently remove Saddam Hussein from power. Although the U.S. successfully ousted Hussein from office, the immediate capture of the man proved elusive. In July, his sons, Uday and Qusay, were killed by U.S. forces, but Saddam Hussein remained at large. It wasn't until December that members of Task Force 121, a coalition of special forces units including Delta Force, located him near Tikrit. This operation, known as Operation Red Dawn, was based on intelligence obtained from a captured confidant of Hussein. Task Force 121 discovered Saddam Hussein in a hole on a farm where he had been hiding for 9 months. The famous declaration, "Ladies and gentlemen, we got him," marked the moment of his capture. He was promptly taken into custody and eventually executed almost 3 years later. While this mission wasn't the last involving Delta Force in Iraq, it remains one of the most significant, albeit relatively unknown, operations. But wait, there's more. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi was a highly feared figure globally for many years, leading the notorious ISIL group. He ranked as a significant adversary on the American intelligence watch list. In 2019, after numerous unsuccessful attempts, the U.S. successfully located him, and it was the elite Delta Force that executed the operation. Al-Baghdadi first gained American attention during the 2003 Iraq invasions when he was briefly detained due to his connections with his militant brother-in-law. However, he was unexpectedly released in 2004. By 2010, he declared himself the leader of ISIL's caliphate in Iraq. Despite efforts by the Obama administration, al-Baghdadi remained elusive until 2019, when the CIA, with the help of interrogating one of his wives, contributed to pinpointing his location. On October 27, 2019, Delta Force commanders, accompanied by at least one military dog, launched an assault on the compound where al-Baghdadi was hiding. As reported by then-President Donald Trump, the operators traced him to an underground tunnel where he detonated a suicide vest, killing himself and some of his children to avoid capture. Although initial reports pointed to Delta Force's involvement, official acknowledgement from military officials was never provided, which aligns with the expected level of secrecy in such operations. Delta Force's 17-second hostage liberation. The exchange involving Sergeant Bo Bergdahl stands out as one of the most contentious and disputed prisoner swaps in history, and Delta Force played a crucial role in its execution. Bergdahl, a former U.S. Army sergeant, gained notoriety for being captured by Taliban militants in 2009 while stationed in Iraq. This occurred after he voluntarily and unlawfully left his post on the front lines, leading to his imprisonment by the Taliban for nearly 5 years, during which he endured torture. In 2014, the United States orchestrated a swap, exchanging Bergdahl for some Taliban members held at Guantanamo Bay military prison. Given the high-risk and high-profile nature of the exchange, Delta Force was chosen to participate in the operation, Fortunately, the mission unfolded smoothly, and Delta operators swiftly flew Bergdahl out of the area, bringing him back to a U.S. base for the first time in years. The words, "Their son Bo is coming home," and the reassurance of "Bob, Jenny, we have him," marked the successful conclusion of the operation. In the event of any complications, few units could have been better equipped to handle Taliban fighters than Delta Force. Subsequently, Bergdahl faced consequences and was dishonorably discharged from the Army in 2017. However, it is noteworthy that his court-martial was overturned in 2023. In a remarkable display of precision and efficiency, Delta Force operators executed a daring rescue mission in a mere 17 seconds. The high-stakes operation unfolded on June 8, 2004, during the intense U.S. invasion of Iraq. The hostages, a group of Italian and Polish contractors, had endured months of captivity after being abducted from Baghdad. Tragically, one of the hostages, an Italian national, had already fallen victim to the ruthless militants, subjected to a horrific execution captured on videotape. The quest to locate the hostages had been a prolonged and arduous process for Special Forces intelligence. Eventually, their efforts led Delta operators to a complex believed to be the captives' holding site. Time was of the essence, prompting the swift mobilization of Delta operators who boarded helicopters destined for the compound. With remarkable efficiency, the Delta operators stormed the complex, securing the entire building and successfully extracting all 4 surviving hostages in less than a minute. What sets this operation apart is the audacious execution carried out in broad daylight, a testament to Delta Force's unparalleled skill and confidence. The speed and precision with which Delta Force conducted the rescue underscore their elite status. Few teams possess the capability to execute such a mission with the level of expertise demonstrated by Delta. Their ability to navigate through a complex situation, liberate hostages, and do so swiftly in broad daylight speaks volumes about their exceptional training and proficiency. Delta Force's double blow to drug lords. In the latter part of 1992, the intense pursuit of the infamous drug lord Pablo Escobar was in full swing. Known for heading the notorious Medellin cartel, one of the largest drug trafficking organizations globally, Escobar's name had become synonymous with the illicit trade. His influence was so profound that he was often likened to Henry Ford's significance in the automobile industry, being the driving force behind the cocaine market. Despite amassing immense wealth from his illicit activities, Escobar found himself on the wrong side of the law, hunted by authorities across the globe. In a surprising turn of events, he surrendered to Colombian authorities on June 1991. However, this surrender proved to be short-lived, as Escobar managed to escape their custody just a year later, plunging back into a life on the run. Faced with the challenge of apprehending Escobar once again, the Colombian government sought assistance from the United States. Their plea led to the involvement of the elite Delta Force, a highly skilled special operations unit. President George Bush authorized the deployment of an 8-man force to Colombia, marking the commencement of Operation Heavy Shadow. Operation Heavy Shadow was a pivotal mission, culminating in Escobar's demise. The objective was clear: track down the elusive drug lord and bring him to justice. The intricate planning and execution of the operation were a testament to the collaboration between Colombian and U.S. authorities. The climax of the operation saw an American sniper delivering a fatal blow to Escobar's brain, effectively ending the reign of the world's most notorious outlaw. In his 2001 book, Killing Pablo: The Hunt for the World's Greatest Outlaw, author Mark Bowden speculated that the precision of the shot suggested the involvement of a Delta operator, though the identity remained shrouded in secrecy. The decision to assign such a critical task to Delta Force emphasized the gravity of the situation. As one expert noted, "You don't get asked to assassinate Pablo Escobar unless you've got the right experience." The Delta commander on that fateful day, Colonel Jerry Boykin, officially denied the possibility of their direct involvement in firing the fatal shot. The mystery surrounding the identity of the sniper persists, leaving the exact details of Escobar's demise subject to speculation. Regardless of the unanswered questions, Delta Force played an instrumental role in the culmination of Escobar's pursuit. While they may not have pulled the final trigger, Their expertise and efforts significantly contributed to the success of Operation Heavy Shadow and the eventual end of the notorious drug trafficking kingpin. But that's not all. Since the 1980s, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman Loera has presented a formidable challenge to international drug enforcement agencies, leading the notorious Sinaloa cartel. El Chapo's influence reached across borders, orchestrating the smuggling of large drug quantities through extensive pipelines from Central America to various parts of the world. Despite spending a significant portion of his life evading law enforcement, El Chapo's elusive run came to an end with the intervention of Delta Force. El Chapo's criminal journey included imprisonment in Mexico from 1993 to 2001, but he executed a daring escape, maintaining freedom until 2014 when authorities apprehended him once again. Another escape during the anticipation of his trial in 2015 preceded a subsequent recapture by Mexican authorities in early 2016. Reports from SOFREP suggest that Delta Force operators played a role in El Chapo's 26th capture, although their involvement was primarily limited to providing tactical assistance during the operation. While the specific details of Delta Force's contribution remain undisclosed, their tactical support likely played a crucial role in the mission's success. The collaboration between Mexican Marines and Delta Force, even if indirect, highlights the necessity of international cooperation in addressing transnational criminal organizations. El Chapo, now serving a life sentence with minimal chances of escape, owes at least part of his apprehension to the strategic and operational expertise of Delta Force. The extent of their involvement may remain speculative, but the outcome underscores the pivotal role elite military units play in combating high-profile criminal figures on a global scale. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.